You guys, Erin here. I am dropping in to give you the astrological update for the second half of October of 2023. Now, we are heading into some very intense energies here. Currently, right now, the sun is transiting through the sign of Libra. Okay, the sign of Libra is the sign of balance and harmony and relationships. It's ruled by Venus. It's about everybody getting along. Well, on October 23rd, the sun moves from the sign of Libra into the sign of Scorpio. Very different energies here. The sign of Scorpio is ruled by Pluto and Mars. Okay, now Pluto up in the sky and in our natal charts, Pluto is the influencer of very powerful transformation. Pluto rules our psyche and our spiritual willpower. Mars influences our physical willpower. Okay, so when we take into consideration that the sign of Scorpio is ruled by Pluto and Mars, we start to understand the energy of this very intense zodiac sign. Okay, now this sign of Scorpio, in fact, the sign of Scorpio rules the entire excretory system, rules the colon, the sweat glands, even the nose. Any part of our body where things go out are ruled by the sign of Scorpio. That's because this sign of Scorpio is all about transformation. It's about flushing things out that are not working for you. Not only that, but it's after we flush these things out, what happens is we've got room to embrace a more powerful new beginning. The sign of Scorpio is very much associated with power. Okay, not only that, but this is the time of year when the veil between worlds is thinnest. Okay, when the sun is transiting through the sign of Scorpio, that is October 23rd until November 22nd. That is, again, when the veil between worlds is thinnest. There's a very specific reason that Halloween falls in Scorpio season. Okay, it's a little bit of a spooky energy in some essences, but it's also overall just this very intense energy. This can be, for some people, an excellent time for a powerful transformational process. Now, what's a really wise idea is to get familiar with your natal chart and see where that sign of Scorpio comes through. Which house in your natal chart does the sign of Scorpio rule? This could be coming through your house of money, your house of relationships, your house of career. Could be coming through your house of communication, your house of karma. There's all these different areas of your life that the sun potentially could just be moving into. And when we know where that area is, we know where to put the focus on in our life at that time. Okay. Now, another very intense and powerful thing that's coming up here is we have a lunar eclipse that is taking place on Saturday, October 28th. Now, when we have a lunar eclipse, we have to be having a full moon. Okay, when we have a solar eclipse, it means we're having a new moon with the nodes right next to the sun and the moon. When we have a lunar eclipse, it means that we are having a full moon with the nodes right next to the sun and the moon. I'll explain to you how this works. The sun will be over here in the sign of Scorpio on October 28th. The moon will be over here exactly opposite that in the sign of Taurus. Anytime we have a full moon, it means the sun and the moon are at exactly opposite ends of the zodiac. The sun will be at 5 degrees Scorpio. The moon will be at 5 degrees Taurus. Now, the lunar nodes, the north and south node, will be right next to the sun and the moon. It will technically be the south node, which is the drain point near the sun, okay, helping us to flush things out that are not serving us. But then the north node, this is what brings celestial energy in, will be right next to that big full moon. Eclipses are very, very powerful. That's another position in your chart. You might want to look to see where the sign of Taurus is in your natal chart, because that will be activated by this lunar eclipse. Again, it could be coming through your house of physical health, your house of transformation, your house of communication. Or if you're maybe a Taurus rising, this is coming through your house of self. That's very, very powerful. And since it's a north node lunar eclipse, what that means is it's pumping celestial energy in, making it even more intense and powerful than, far more intense and powerful than the average full moon. Okay, now something else I want to mention here. Generally speaking, we don't experience, whatever the eclipses are always going to bring some kind of energy either in or out of our life. Since this is a north node lunar eclipse, it's bringing energy into some area of your life. However, it generally does not happen on the day of an eclipse. It generally happens within 2 weeks before the eclipse, 2 weeks after the eclipse, but sometimes it can also trigger this thing to come into your life approximately 90 days after the eclipse, or approximately 180 days after an eclipse. So you might want to mark your calendars and see what's going on in your life. Again, especially if you're familiar with your natal chart. Now, if you are not familiar with your natal chart, this is a really good time to get familiar with your natal chart. And the way we do that is by getting an astrology reading. When you get a reading with me, I offer you a free video recording of the entire reading, and we pull up your chart. We go through everything. And with that recording, you can always go back to review it to see which area of your life is being activated by any new moon, full moon, eclipse, anything astrological. Once you get a little familiar with your natal chart, you can see specifically what area of your life is being triggered by that particular astrological force. So if you would like to schedule a reading with me, you can schedule through the East West website, which is eastwestbooks.org. When you go to that website, there's a little link on top that says Readers and Healers. You click there, and it's very self-explanatory. You will see how to schedule a reading with myself or any of the wonderful readers and healers that East West has to offer. Okay, guys, I do hope to hear from some of you. And until next time, namaste to all of you.